Legendary Roger Federer's career came to a somewhat disappointing end when Frances Tiafoe denied him one final trophy. The Laver Cup is a Ryder Cup-style team competition. Tiafoe helped Team World to taste success in the tournament with a 1-6, 7-6, and 10-8 victory over Stefanos Tsitsipas. Tiafoe's win meant John McEnroe's team hit the 13-point mark on a thrilling and dramatic Sunday at the O2. But it was Tiafoe teaming up with Jack Sock to take on Federer and Nadal in an emotional doubles contest that brought the curtain down on the 20-time Grand Slam champ's sterling career. First up, an emotional end for Federer. Defeat still hurts, especially for a competitive player like Roger Federer. Yeah, of course I'm disappointed. I was on the team, almost lost my voice, and my hand hurts from clapping, the 41-year-old admitted. We wish the result would be different. I told Andy Murray in the locker room. I don't like losing. It's not fun. It just leaves not the best taste, you know? I think once you've been there and tasted success, it's just not the same. Federer was lifted on the shoulders by his fellow players after his final match. I hope tonight can still be somewhat of an enjoyable evening. Of course, this weekend has been all over the place for me. I enjoyed it, but unfortunately, we couldn't get the win. Now for a look at how the Laver Cup tournament went. Before going into the third day of the competition, Federer still thought he had a chance of adding a final title to his glittering CV. At that point, Team Europe was leading 8-4. Felix Auger-Aliassime had other ideas though. He played alongside Sock to beat Andy Murray and Matteo Berrettini in the doubles, and then he provided a thriller in the second match. Auger-Aliassime scored a shock win over Novak Djokovic. The score was 6-3, 7-6, and that was enough to pull Team World back from the brink, and actually put them one win away from lifting the silverware. All was now in the hands of Tiafoe, and Tiafoe does it despite a shaky start. Tiafoe lost the first set in this crucial game against Tsitsipas in just 21 minutes. But the Greek could simply not maintain his charge, and after a marathon tiebreaker in the second set, the players returned for a third set. The third set delivered a 10-point tiebreaker and ultimately clinched the trophy. Tiafoe held his nerve and produced textbook tennis. He made a drop shot from behind the baseline and defended 4 match points to put the historic win in the lap of Team World. This, unfortunately, spoiled Federer's farewell. So, what did the players have to say? First up was Tiafoe. He said, "Federer has got a lot to apologize for after the last 24 years of beating everybody on the tour." Federer was quick to quip back, saying, "No, I won't apologize, but I will say thank you for having me in this amazing event. You know, what he's done for the game, also say thank you for what he did for the game. He's a class act, happy to know him, happy to call him a friend, happy to call him a colleague, and best wishes in his second act, but I will not apologize." Also, other greats are about to call it quits. John McEnroe is not going to be around for much longer either. He said the Laver Cup in Vancouver in 2023 will be his last. Bjorn Borg said the same. In an interview, he stated, "I think that it will probably be the same for me. This is my 5th year, and if we can be one more year at 6, 3 times in Europe and 3 times in North America, that would be perfect. I'm very happy to do one more, yeah, like John too, to spend with these great players." Meanwhile, it's fitting Federer's career should end in London. It was, after all, in London that Federer hit stardom. In 2002, he strolled onto center court at Wimbledon. Remember the designer stubble and ponytail? And Federer ending the seeming unbeatable Pete Sampras reign with an upset in the 4th round. There was another synchronicity at the Laver Cup. Federer ended his astonishing career with a last doubles match alongside his friendly arch-rival Rafael Nadal. The full circle would have been to see Federer's final match at Wimbledon, where he had dominated for so long, but it was probably a better decision not to. It would have meant playing a best-of-5 tournament on the slick grass. There is no doubt his spirit is willing, but his post-operative knees may not have been cooperative. So, the end came indoors at O2 Arena in a team event he conceived with his agent, Tony Goldstock, back in 2017. And the interesting comments at the post-game news conference. Federer broke the top 20 in men's tennis as a teenager, and then also became the oldest #1 in the history of men's tennis at the age of 36 back in 2018. When asked what he was proudest of in his career, Federer said longevity was the answer. He added, "I was famous for being quite erratic at the beginning of my career." He said, "And then to become one of the most consistent players ever is quite a shock to me as well." He also looked back and quipped that back then he felt like he would be able to compete for any title for at least 15 years. That has been quite a privilege, I think. Looking back, that has been a special meaning to me because I always looked to the Michael Schumachers, Tiger Woods, and all the other guys that stayed for so long at the top that I didn't understand how they did it. Next thing you know, you're part of that group, and it's been a great feeling. Federer's success came from a unique blend of talent and structure, perhaps something that comes by once in a generation. His natural gift for the game, his exceptional hand-eye coordination, and his processing speed allowed Federer to create some of the best shots we've seen in men's singles tennis. And then he had that astonishing ability to create time to finish those shots with extra flow. flourish. Also, post-match tears flow at the Laver Cup. Roger Federer finished his career with cheers ringing in his ears and tears in his eyes. It was almost as if the results didn't matter. He faced his curtain call in front of a sellout crowd of 17,500 at the O2 Arena in London. We should remember that he returned after more than a year away from tennis, and it was fitting that he should play alongside Rafael Nadal, with whom he had shared one of tennis's most captivating rivalries. Just after midnight in London, Federer should have sealed the victory in the doubles clash. He served a match point in a tense tiebreak, but he was denied by Americans Jack Sock and Frances Tiafoe. In the end, Sock sent a blistering forehand winner across the net and sealed a 4-6, 7-6, and 11-9 win for Team World. There was a stunned silence in the crowd, and then everybody rose as one to salute the 41-year-old swan song. His sportsmanship, elegance, and charisma transcended sport during a spectacular 24-year career. Federer produced moments of his trademark magic during a fiercely contested duel and kept his emotions in check. Ellie Gould sang to an on-screen montage of Federer's on-court achievements over the years, and that was the moment where the tear ducts opened, among the players and the crowd. And what about his family? When Federer's wife, Mirka, and his kids, Leo, Lenny, Mila, and Charlene hugged him after the match, everybody cried. The same when he took his parents in his arms. "We'll get through this somehow. It's been a wonderful day. I told the guys I'm happy, not sad," said Federer. "I enjoyed tying my shoelaces one more time. Everything was the last time. Playing with Rafa and having all the greats here, all the legends." He couldn't keep the quiver from his voice when he thanked his wife. "She could have stopped me a long, long time ago, but she didn't. She kept me going and allowed me to play. So it's amazing. Thank you," he said. And finally, the nostalgia of Federer's farewell match. Laver, the Australian great who inspired Federer to create this competition, was in the crowd. When Federer and Nadal walked onto the court, they're nicknamed Fadal, the speakers blared out the classic London calling by the clash, and this continued all the way through the warm-up. In the opening game, Federer punched away a volley. This was his first shot in competitive tennis after last year's Wimbledon defeat by Hubert Hurkacz, a loss that put an end to Federer's dream of extending his center court titles to 9. While changeovers were happening, video screens kept showing iconic moments of Federer's career, including a tribute from Nadal and his mother. Federer and Nadal, they have a combined age of 77 and 42 Grand Slam titles between them, broke Tiafoe's serve in the first set, but then they began to fade and allowed the Americans back into the game. The crowd chants of "Let's go, Roger, let's go." Federer and Nadal seemed to be clawing their way to victory, but the tennis gods refused to intervene, and the match ended up spectacularly going to Tiafoe and Sock. "It still feels like a celebration for me, and that's exactly what I hoped for," said Federer, who scaled unprecedented heights and rewrote the record books. "It's been a perfect journey, and I would do it all over again." The Swiss maestro will be sorely missed by all who admire him as a tennis great and by those who see him for the gentleman he is.